All right, welcome. So this is going to be about how to get Volatility 3 up and running and how to capture memory dumps from the virtual machines as well. Most of the tools we use today won't work to capture the virtual memory dumps. They have a volatility linked one in their documentation that we'll use. And I've tested it on everything. So it works on ESXi, works on VirtualBox, VMware Workstation, VMware Fusion on any Windows OS. Obviously, it's a portable executable, so it's only going to work in Windows. And we know that in Linux, we can just copy the memory, so that works. Any POSIX StarNix system, actually. Okay, so first things first. You can see that I do not have guest editions installed here, so let's fix that first. What we're looking at here is an Ubuntu 2204.3 clean install, but I did do the update while it was installing. So let's get it going. Where is it? Install guest edition CD image. This is really just VirtualBox, but with the end of life of Python 2, you can't run Python 2 in production environments anymore. So now we have to run Volatility 3. So that's the objective here. Run this program. So Volatility 3, because it runs Python 3, will be required going forward. So I figured I'd put this out. There's not a lot of information out there on it yet and how to do it and the intrinsic differences. You say you have to read the manual, which nobody has time for, but people can watch videos in the background while they're working. So I figured I'd put this one together. So I'm just installing guest editions. We'll hup the system or reboot it, and then we'll get started with the install. What I've found, I've done this a couple of times on some other OSs to make sure there's no paradigm shifts. Basically, the like Red Hat based and Debian based systems, so it works on both the same. So it should work on any POSIX compliant version. Okay, so it looks like that's done. Now let's make sure she resizes. Yes, okay. So that's what we want. We want that resize behavior just to keep it clean. Okay, so I don't even have to restart it. Let's see, what else do I need to do here? Anything else? Yes, so after we're done installing, we always have to do, here it's going to be apt on the Red Hat variant, it would be yum. So here it's apt update, I think. Okay, so sudo su see, I forget when I made the password here. So I'm not in the sudo, so why is it not working? Let me see what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, so I paused the video for a second. I have to do the sudoers file is set up right, so I don't know why it isn't working. It's probably something to do. I did restart the virtual machine and it's still doing the same behavior. So if I do sudo less Let's see. It should not work, yeah. But, I mean, the sudo is set up right, so I don't know. I'll troubleshoot that later. In the meantime, I'm just going to do sudo root, and that should do it. Alright, so let's get started. What we want to do is upgrade the package manager. So when we begin to install things, so like check it out. No Python. Oh wait, we do have Python 3. Python 3, so we do have Python 3. We will need that. We're going to use pip to add some libraries to it, quite a few actually, that you'll see will fail when we try to do the volatility launch. And then we'll need to add some other OpenSSL packages and GCC packages or G++ packages, GPP. Okay. So we're going to do apt update upgrade. So we want to upgrade the package manager so that when we search for new packages, it'll have the latest list. So this is a really important step. And then we're going to run update after. APT is just a package manager. If you're in the Red Hat base system, so like Red Hat, Fedora, CentOS, any of those variants, you would run yum instead of apt. This is what we'll use to get Volatility 3 installed. So we'll follow these instructions here, and we'll add a few that will satisfy the missing packages. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to do apt upgrade. Okay, so it's updated and everything's up to date because I just installed it, I guess. So we're good there. We just want to make sure that's 100%. Now let's get our volatility instructions out and start rolling with those. We can just go blow by blow down the list to get them installed. So we'll do pip 3. Oh, we gotta download the repo first. So let me make sure I'm online. Yep. Okay, so actually I've got this downloaded on my host system. I might just create a share just so I don't have to download it again. I'll do that. Let's see, shared folder, so it's right in front of me. So I'm going to go to my host, other, there we go, and I'm going to go to one with this drive, and I'm going to this folder, and then coming down here to volatility 3. And I've already downloaded it and unpacked it to here, but I'm gonna stop at this whole folder is what I want to share, okay? Because I have my sample memory dumps in there too. All right, so I'm gonna read only. Oh no, I don't want read only. I want to auto mount. Well, I'll probably be okay with read only, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, and we'll give that a second to propagate. Shouldn't take long. And we're going to go to cd mnt hg. It's not mounting it. Okay, that's interesting. Why? Full auto mount, so it should be mounted. Maybe it's media. That's it. So there it is right there, SF vol3. My other one didn't name it that way, but that was through VMware. I put it in the HDFS, so under MNT. So that's just some intrinsic differences between the architectures there for VMware and versus VirtualBox. Okay, so here's the files I have, and we're going to get into volatility, develop, and then that is what this is, okay? So if you come up here and download this code, that's exactly what I did. I downloaded the zip and just unpacked it right here, okay? So it's literally the same thing. So now let's go get our instructions. So they want you to run this command, and you have to do it from this folder because here's the requirements right here. So let's see what that produces. The first time I did it, it wasn't that interesting, but I was missing a few libraries, so maybe I just don't know how to read it. So they're using a package manager. When I did it on the other VMware system, I just did it with pip3. Just a reminder, Python 2 is end of life now. So you should not be using it in production environments. Okay, so that's done. Then we're gonna, so now we have this build and stuff in here, so we're gonna go Python 3 setup. And then we'll do build. Okay, so that looked like it worked. And we'll do install. So the way this is going to work is if you're missing some functionality in the base OS, then those plugins just won't be added to your capability. Okay. For example, dumping the hashes, not the hashes, well, they are hashes, but it's the credential hashes, right? I forget what they call it. I have to go back and look. We'll get to that in a little bit, but some of that functionality just won't work. So if you're missing it, you have to go back to your installation and see what you did not install, and then just reinstall that, rerun it, the build, and install, and it'll update it. So those plugins just won't get compiled and added. Okay. So it looks like we're done. So let's see, volatility. So we have it. it's there. There we go. So it's running now where it did not before. Okay. So let me do it one more time. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to copy. I want to go up a directory and I want to copy. Well, actually, I'm in this folder anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go vol hack F, and I'm going to do. Let's take a look at. Let's do the VirtualBox Win10 raw. We're going to do that one. Okay, so this is interesting. It's supposed to give me a list of the plugins I can run. Is that a command that I need to do? Let me see. So there's a manual install. And then we can go to, there should be a documentation in here. Yeah, this is it. This is a good link for documentation. I'll put this in the Word doc that I'm creating back here. All right. So you're going to want to read this. This is a very short read and very important. It talks about some paradigm differences between vol2 and vol3. So volatility 2 and volatility 3. Very important. It's a short read. All the way down till you get to the Windows tutorial for getting started. So this is what I was using to pull the memdumps. They didn't really work with FTK Imager, so I don't know why, but they're not. Well, you know what? That was volatility 2 on the virtual machines. I did not try this yet. I need to do that still. So it may work because they have it listed, but the WinPmem definitely worked even on ESXi, VirtualBox, and VMware Workstation, and Fusion. But of course the Fusion and the memory dump is done differently. So it doesn't work on Linux, right? Because it's a Windows binary, sorry. The memory dumps worked in volatility 3 is what I meant. Not the WinPmem, which captures the memory. This is an executable used to capture the memory. And I believe that points you to another GitHub repo. See it at the bottom there? Okay, so now... so this just walks you through an analysis. Oh, the hash dump is the one that's not going to work, and I'll show you that. So let's just go through this. Listing the plugins. So this is important because it'll show you what you can run. And in my other version in VMware, it just displayed it by default. I don't know why it's not here. That's kind of interesting. So let me do... So we'll pipe that out to grep. Pipe it out to head-in. Actually, I won't pipe it to head. We'll just see what that looks like. Okay, so these are all the ones I have. So where's the hash dump? See, it's not in here because I'm missing the OpenSSL library. So there's a couple of them that I'm missing because of that. So these are the ones you can call. All of these commands you can call. Okay, every single one of these, and it's supported right now out of the box. So let's try this DLL list without the secondary one on that memory dump that I had, and we'll do so I can still do it at the end. So it'll take a minute to run, and then it'll give you the DLL list dump. So these layers that it's processing are the actual RAM sections in memory. That's how the new version is very different than the Python 2, the way it works. It's much better. We don't have to get the image info and deal with all the different OSs. Or like when we would get, well, it's either Windows XP Service Pack 2 or Win 10, right? You'd have to try each one of those if it didn't give you good results. This is a very painful, long process. This is also better for scripting the way they've written this. It's designed to be scripted. In fact, over here, while that thing's running, if you go down here for the acquiring memory, listing plugins, and using plugins, hold on. Writing plugins, this will show you how to automate this process. It's much simpler to do it in here than it was Volatility 2. I mean, Volatility 2 wasn't that bad. You had to take the output and parse it, but this is a little, it's just made for it. So there's our output, and it'll look familiar. These are big OSs that I have that I pulled. I wanted to make sure it was production quality, so just tons of stuff running. So if I had a bigger monitor or display, then it would look more uniform, but you get the idea that this is going to look correct. Yeah, this is a ton of service hosts running in on this one. Look at that. So what you're looking at here is the DLL list, right? So we would expect that this would be huge. And then you can also list them by PID and stuff like that, just like we used to do before. I'll do a follow-up video with that. This is just how to get it up and running. I teach some classes sometimes, and some of my students were asking about this, so I figured I'd give them a video to do it. There we go. All right, I'm going to try to cancel that. There we go. See if it comes back to me. There we go. Okay, so you get the idea that it is producing the data. This is just a debugger output from where I hit Control-C. So that wasn't the command I ran. Maybe because I interrupted it. There we go. There's the command I ran. It's still not caught up. Okay. Now, what I want to show you. So let's try some of the classic ones that we all know by heart, right? PS list and PS tree. Oops. So it's got to go through all that memory again. It won't take as long as the DLL did, though. And then what I'm going to do, I'll show you this hash dump, okay, which is actually third on the list anyway. So you can see this is classic. We all know this, right? Here's the PID, and then here's the PPID, the parent process ID. And at the top, it'll tell you that. Man, this thing is really slow to respond. I don't know why. But anyway, let me, oh, it's probably still, is it still running? No, I don't know why it's so slow. Maybe Windows is trying to, I have another VM open and it might be trying to update or something. So we can do PS tree. And then what I'm going to do is run this hash dump, and you're going to see that it won't work. It won't recognize the plugin. So we'll go figure out why that is. Now, also, sometimes your systems won't have a password in them. So there's nothing to dump, and you'll get a different little error about that. Okay, there's your PS tree. See that? Remember the asterisks? And again, we have the PID and the parent process ID. Okay, so now let me do it with the hash dump. Man, this thing is slow. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on. Maybe I just didn't. No, it's just slow. Okay, and then we're going to do hash dump. And we should get a little error. Okay, so volatility error argument plugin invalid choice. So we don't have this plugin to run. Okay, so how do we get that to install? So that's what we're missing. Okay, so now if we go, I'm trying to remember what I did next. I have all the info. I think I did a search for volatility hash dump plugin won't run or not present. Okay, here we go. This is it. So it's in their website under issues, and here's what they say. And you can add VVV or VVV to get more verbose output. So let's do that, because that's what I did. And it tells us that we're missing Yara scan. So we're missing the Yara-Python module, I think. It should say that in here somewhere. When we try to, actually it'll say that when we try to install it. So if we do, so we need to search for how to install, I think it's Yara-Python. So, this one. Through pip. So this is the actual code one. Let me go back to this one. Alright, this looks like the one I used. So the pip instruction, okay, so that's it. So that's what I tried to do next. And here's what I get. pip3 install Yara Python. And this is interesting. I did not get this far in VMware because I was missing an open SSL package in the 2204.3 Ubuntu base install. And there's basically 2 libraries we need. Yeah, okay, so it did bomb. So, and this took me a while to figure out, which is why I created the video, okay? So you can see it right here, Yara attack Python. So it's still trying to do it, it's still trying to run. What I'm gonna do is hit Control-C. It is just running really slow, I'm not sure why. Might need to reboot it. So it's warning you that it's not likely a problem with pip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go apt get install lib ssl dev and then lib ffi dev, and that will let us fix the problem. Then we should be able to install the Yara. So those were the 2 we're missing. Alright, so now I'm going to go up. And then we'll just have to refresh our volatility install, and then it should work. So when you're missing plugins, it's because you're going to have to trace back and figure out what dependencies that you're missing. And it's a little bit tricky. But it'll be at the bottom of the error output, usually. The 2 that I troubleshot were. Both at the bottom of the error output. Because there's a lot, you know. If you have the triple V on, you're going to get quite a bit of verbosity. So let me get you that command. in the Word doc. And let me get this in there. Okay. All right, so you can see that that worked. Now we have Yara Python installed. So now, because I got to go back into that volatility 3 develop directory. Now we're basically just going to rerun our install. Come on, unhighlight. Okay. So now we want to just rebuild it. Well, let me see if it just showed up. Maybe it magically showed up. Let's test that. I didn't really test it before. I just reran the instructions. So let me just try it again. So let's just see if the plugin is there now. No, it's still not there, so we're going to have to do that. So now we have to go back over here and just rerun that install. That's not it. This one. So we need to rerun the installation. There's a way to just install the one plugin, and I don't remember what that is. Let me see if they told us in this one. There's also another library that I was missing, but maybe we won't need that one. Let's see. Python 3. So no, we're going to do the pip. So we need to build it and install it. So setup.py build. So this is the part that's going to look at what's installed in your system. Okay, and then we're going to do install, so it's not pip, it is Python 3. Okay, so now we can, oh, look at that, I have so many more now, you see that? This is way more than we had before. Way more. 3 times the output from before. Okay, so now I'm going to go cd ... and we're gonna run it again. So let me go find that command. There it is. Let's see if she runs. No. Okay, so we're still missing the plugin. So what else am I missing? Okay, what else? So we got the Yara Python. So I just added the Yara, I added the 2 libraries for OpenSSL. We ran all that, that worked fine. Now I gotta remember what I did here. Okay, so that would solve the Yara problem. Okay, so that solves that. And we don't need this one. Okay, so here we go. Okay, let's see if that test works. I never tried that either. Oh, that's just, I don't think that's a real virtual memory dump. Okay, so we just run it with the verbosity and see what the errors are. Okay, no module named crypto. Okay, so that's part of it. So we're still missing our crypto lib. Okay, so here's where it started. So there's a plugin path. Where's my error? Looks like crypto.cipher. Okay. Alright, let me run this through Google and see what she says. I'm going to do it on another window just so I can read it. It's so slow to scroll. Okay, so no module names crypto for volatility. Okay, so there is another page on it. I'll get the link for the Word doc. So here is what I found. So let's see what it says. Crypto hash. This looks like volatility 2 though. See how they're profiling? We don't do that in volatility 3, but let's just see what it says the fix is. Install Yara, we did that. Python crypto. Okay, I wonder if there's a pip for that. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Sure does look like it. Where's my pip command? There's a manual install. Well, let's just try it with the module name. So it's called PyCrypto. So pip 3. Pip would probably work, but there was a lot of chatter. Make sure you're using the right one because it can get messed up for some things. But it's probably mature enough now where that's not an issue. But so let's see. Let me go make sure I'm running this right. I don't use pip a lot. Okay, so we got to do install and then the module name. So pip install, and then I need the module name, which is just PyCrypto. And we'll wait for it to take the enter and do its thing. And then we'll have to go build and install again on volatility. Luckily, it's not too painful. So this is different than what I had to do on VMware, by the way. So you might want to do the same troubleshooting steps. Basically, you just need to get the right modules installed and then it should work. This is very different than what I had to do in VMware Workstation. Actually, I was using Fusion. I'm on a Mac as the hypervisor host OS. Okay, so that looks like it worked. Let me just see if the command runs. I don't think it will. I think we're gonna have to. Oh, it's working now. Check that out. So it just magically showed up. That's a little counterintuitive to me. So it must have been trying to use the crypto library and was bombing. So it was trying to run, but that's weird how it reports that. That's a little strange. But anyway, it worked. I did not have to rebuild volatility. So this should have everything you need now. Look how fat that command stack is now. So these are all the plugins you can run. All of them right here, if it'll highlight it. Basically from here up to here. Choose from, yeah, all these. From here to here. You can run any of these commands. See, before it was just cutting off here. I don't know why it wasn't giving me this. One of those commands we issued to do an install fixed that, or maybe it just took time, or one of the rebuilds helped it. I don't know, but it seems to be working now. This is going to take a little while, but it'll dump the credentials out here if you have them in there. Otherwise, you'll get a little mundane error that couldn't pull creds. And I did try it on a Windows VM that I have that does not require a login. And it did not run correctly because there are no hashes in there. So that's pretty much it. You can see all these other plugins, and I will tell you, like Mac timers right here. I don't know why this thing is so slow to highlight. If you just do mac.timers, it'll work. And then they have this third option, capital T, and it's very common throughout all the commands to do that. And there's a lot of engineering in how this thing works, they expose, and that document page, which is not too hard to understand, so I would encourage you to read that as well. So this is pretty much what I wanted to show you, how to get up and running from Python 2 to Python 3. It's a little different, so like where you have Windows dot, that's if you're looking at a Windows RAM dump, right? If you're looking at a Linux RAM dump, then you're going to have to say a Linux dot. And then Mac dot. So they have one specific for Mac OS as well. A plugin specific for Mac OS. And then you can write more of these. Don't forget to dump the strings on them. Those are useful. Before you jump into analyzing them. And I'll go through and do another video in a little, maybe not today, but another day. I'll walk you through how to do the analysis. Oh, I've got to still show you how to pull the RAM dump. Let's do that real quick. Let's see, which one? Let me try this one. Okay, so it finally highlighted the text I was trying to highlight like an hour ago. So it ran and, okay, yeah, this is the error I got on the other one too. H boot key is not valid. That's because there are no passwords in the system. I did run this, I'm not going to show that video, right? But I did run this on a system that had a password, and it did show up the LM hash, the LAN manager hash, and the NTLM hash. So this NT hash is basically an NTLM hash. So it shows you literally how Mimikatz just strips this stuff out of memory. So okay, so this thing's up. Let's see if my share is still enabled. It doesn't look like it. Let me turn that back on. And I'll show you how easy it is to pull a memory dump for this guy. Oh, my kids are getting rambunctious. Apologies. Okay, so I want to go in here. And down to the bottom. And then that's the folder I want to share. We'll make it Auto mount. Okay, should be there. So we just scroll down to the bottom and it should show up. And that E does not look like it. Wonder if I messed that up. No. It's not it either. Interesting, it's not mounting it. Auto mounted, vol3. Wonder if I don't have. Maybe I didn't install it on this one. Guest editions. For this to work, you have to have guest editions installed. Oh, yeah, of course. So all I'm trying to do is get to that file to install it, right? And then the memory dump really doesn't take that long, but you are going to have to run it from a command prompt, and I'll show you how that works here in a sec. And actually we need to run it as root. Not as root on here, but as admin. So there it is, it just showed up. Because guest editions was installing. Okay, now we're gonna have to wait for that to finish. There we go. Now she's back. Okay. So the little program that we're going to download, it's linked in the volatility documentation that I'm going to provide along with this. This is it right here. WinPmem Mini 64 RC2, right? So I'm going to copy this guy over into documents. Okay, so I've already got it in there. So, but anyway, that's what we would have done. So I come over here to documents. Okay, and there it is. And then here's the memory dump that I created earlier, one of them. So as one of my tests. So now what I'm going to do, reboot later. Hopefully I don't mess anything up by not rebooting. That guest editions is a big install, so I probably should reboot, but we'll try it. Pass the UAC. Okay, so now we're admin and we have to get into this folder. If you forget the name, you can just click up there. Well, I used to show you. Okay, So now I just know that I'm going to cd c:// users // Okay, and there it is, when pmem mini x64 rc2, right? Release candidate 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to do when pmem underscore mini tab to autocomplete, and I'm going to give it an output name. So I'm going to do vbox when 10 dump 2.raw. And this is what it does. This is a running system. This works on ESXi, Windows VMs as well. Memory dumps can be tricky to obtain without the right utilities. And you can also get the source code of this from their website, which I'll show you real quick while it's pulling the dump. So if we go back up, oh, I think it's at the top of this. When pmem, so here it is. You can actually get the source code down here for it. So there's an x86 and an x64 version, so I'll put that in here too. And let's see if she's done, and she's done. Okay, so if we come over here, these should be the exact same size, and they are. So that will work in volatility. You can use this dump. I literally just did this a couple hours ago for one of my friends. So just testing it to make sure it worked. So that's it. Okay, let me know if you have any questions or feedback, critique, whatever. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful. Hopefully it's helpful.